Anything longer than 2 hours.
What's that?
2 hours.
The Boy Scouts are coming, so they gotta get home for their bedtimes. They got bedtimes. So do I because I didn't sleep. Are we truthful or not?
Yeah.
We were back when it was 70 degrees, that was nice.
I'm freezing. I'm thinking.
That's
of
why we
putting
put
the
you closer
heater.
to the window.
I'm thinking of putting the heater.
The shirt I had put on.
You think I'm kidding?
No, I don't. I just think it's weird. Tomorrow I'll be in sweat. I don't know. I think it is. No, I'm not sure.
I was quite great. I had enough trouble with that when I was trying to record it.
Hey guys.
Hi, how are you?
Anybody need water or anything?
It's actually water,
One
so it's
extra
right.
thing of water in case you need it.
No, we do that, I don't have to pee.
Didn't have any extra.
5 hours from now, it'll be.
No bueno.
Oh, okay.
Very, very dry.
Quickly, as you can see by the sky.
That's conservative?
Well, yeah, conservative meaning probably high.
Oh.
You're probably right.
How far did it go, do you know? Oh, wait a minute.
Third page.
It went all the way to the,
So David, that's why I don't sit there and
must be my house. That's 5.2 miles. No, David would be in the bottom. Oh. We'd be on the hill, we'd be in the bottom.
I've been over there, and that's a good thing. Yeah, it's a nice day to get around the whole shit.
Before we get started, I want to make a couple announcements. I viewed the game tape of last month's meeting, and I learned a few things. First of all, I need to go on a diet. Now, they tell me the camera adds, 50 or so pounds. Yeah, so, but also, when you're going to speak, give your name, because the way the camera's pointing, nobody knows who's talking out there. So the public that would be watching, don't know who's commenting. All right, so I'm not telling you, you got to tell us where you live or anything. Just give your name so we know who's speaking. All right, and with that, we're going to get started. Call the meeting to order, and we're going to have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We are recording these meetings. So you're warned. Roll call. I'm here, Ed Shingle. Mike Smith,
Yep.
Tammy Hines.
Yep.
Kathy Cross.
Yes.
Doug Tigor.
Yes.
All right. First thing I'm gonna tell you is we held an executive session for personnel matters on Wednesday, February 21st at 1 o'clock to discuss personnel matters. I don't believe there's any votes coming out of that executive session, so. Approve the minutes from the.
It's
No, public
Oh,
participation.
public participation on, we'll entertain public comment on, agenda items.
It matters of
Or
public interest.
concerns, yeah.
And,
Because Mr. Carmen wanted to speak.
okay.
Yeah, the
Did you
name
state-
is Bob Carmen, and I do live on DeGarmo Lane. And that's what I'm here to address is, the situation with DeGarmo Lane. Kathleen is familiar with it. I spoke to Mrs. Imes in regards to it during elections, and the road is in really bad shape. When it was originally put in off the old Jim Campsey farm, the lane was put in, things weren't into specs and whatever, but it is mapped out to come out to the end, turn up the hill to the water tower up there. It goes across the top of the hill and then comes back down between Joe Brecken's and John Bird's property. So there's a complete loop, actually. But anyhow, like I say, it's really bad all times of year, but particularly in the winter with the ice and the snow, there's no drainage. If someone would need an ambulance, fire department, whatever, it could be inaccessible. And I was hoping that the Vince could take a look at it and address that and see if there is some way the township can take that over.
Bad timing, we can't keep up with what we got.
No, I'm not saying a quick
Yeah.
fix automatic, but it's something that, you know, I'd like to have looked at and
Yeah.
what can be done.
You know if
If
it's,
anything.
you know if it's a paper alley? Is it on the plats?
Yes. It's on the, I only happened to know because I was getting something else out of the file. I noticed there was a drawing of where the road should have gone, which
Correct.
would have been a lot nicer if they'd have finished it.
It goes up,
Yes, and then it
Kathleen, up
goes-
to the top,
and
and
then
then
it went-
starts crossing and right. It's, the water authority is up in and out of there, some to maintain or whatever that, but, no, it hasn't been put completely in.
Is it, you know how wide the right of way is?
That was another
Is it-
one
is it
I think
33
was
feet?
an issue in the past about the property owners, what do you need,
33.
33? I don't know
Among
if
other
those
things.
dimensions are there, but I'm also thinking that everything can be, you know, it's just what it is. That there can be allowances for that
Well,
rather than.
I think the issue becomes, and I could be wrong, the solicitor could correct me, that if it doesn't meet specifications, especially in the width, that we may have trouble getting liquid fuels money from the state on it.
You're correct.
And that's huge, you know, that's what pays us to repair it,
Okay.
you know, if it doesn't meet the specifications the state lays forth.
Also, the other thing I thought of is, you're just one guy on that road, does everybody feel the same, or?
There's 8 residents.
Yeah,
There's 8, you know, different.
or all 8 here, it's, you know.
No,
so-
I'm here in behalf of them.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Because I know Joe, and I asked him, this came up a while ago,
Okay.
and I asked him, he didn't really give an opinion either way, I was just,
And Joe's right at the end.
yeah,
But, yes, everybody's in the, you know, would like it taken care of. And once again, it is a safety issue.
Mhm.
That is it. Thank you for your time.
okay.
Thank you.
Who's next? Griggle.
Joe Riggle. On February 21, 2018, there was a Donegal Township mandatory staff meeting. However, only the road department was in attendance. I was very upset with comments made by the board and Mr. Makel suggesting what the road department should do. But first, I want to give the board and Mr. Makel a little bit of my background so they can understand where I'm coming from. I gave this country 4 years of my life serving in the Marine Corps. I was in 2 different combat zones during that time. I was in some of the most fierce battles in Vietnam. At age 20, I was a senior Marine left from our 90-member platoon. I have several medals, including a Purple Heart. With my hearing loss, I pay for these services every day. All citizens have a right to freedom of speech. I earn my right and yours, and the board will not deny me of my right by telling me what I can say, where and when I can say it, and just walking away from situations as suggested. If you want respect, you need to earn it. I will not be intimidated, will not be bullied, and will not be denied my freedom of speech. Thank you.
Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? Who's up? Tim.
Tammy Molson. I had made a decision 2 years ago not to run for re-election in 2017. I even inserted notes in the 2017 township and school bills notifying the residents of the same. I asked the board at the reorganization meeting January 2nd how quickly I could get my records audited after I turned my liens in, so that the new collector could get the records as soon as possible. Vice Chairman Mike Smith said he and Chief Yankosi could pick up the records as soon as they were ready. I announced at the January 22nd meeting that the audit had been completed on January 18th. The township auditors confirmed that everything was good. Mike Smith told me that he and Chief would not be picking up the records because the chief said he was not permitted to do so. Mike said he would let Mrs. Martin know that she could pick up the records. I had not heard from anybody by January 29th, so I called Mike Smith, left a message on his phone, asking him to call me. On January 30th, I hand-delivered a letter to the Township Secretary, Sharon Balish, at 8 a.m. The letter was addressed to the board. I asked Sharon to make sure all 5 board members be notified of this letter. The letter was regarding the tax records and somebody picking them up any evening after 5 p.m. Mike Smith texted me later that morning, so I called him to ask if he had contacted Mrs. Martin. He told me he thought she was going to pick up the record and that he would contact her again. On February 8th, I called the township office and talked to Sharon, informing her that nobody had contacted me yet regarding the tax records. I asked her if the board had received the letters, and she said, I couldn't tell you. Tuesday evening, February 13th, I received a call from Dennis Makel. Dennis had made arrangements with me to come to my house on Saturday, February 17th at 10 a.m. to pick up the tax records. On Wednesday morning, February 14th, I was contacted by Eric Graham asking if it was okay that he come to my house with Eddie Shingle to pick up the tax records. Eddie Shingle had called my husband asking the same. I explained to Eric that Dennis was supposed to be coming to my house on Saturday, but if he and Eddie wanted to pick up the records, I didn't have a problem with that. I just wanted a phone call from Dennis Makel confirming this. Dennis called me right back and confirmed that Eddie Shingle would be contacting me to make arrangements. Thursday evening, February 15th, I arrived home around 7 a.m. after having been at the Donnell house with my father-in-law. Eddie Shingle had left a message about wanting to pick up the tax records at 5 that day. I couldn't return the call as he left no number, and it was 7 o'clock. On Saturday, February 17th at 5 p.m., I called Dennis Makel's office, and to my surprise, he answered. I explained to Dennis that the records were still at my house, and I did miss a call from Eddie on on Thursday, but couldn't return his call as he left no number. Dennis said he would try and get in touch with Eddie or Mike Smith to see what was going on. I received a call back from Eddie Shingle at 5:40. Eddie made the arrangements to pick up the records Sunday, February 18th at 2 p.m. He and Eric did pick the records up. My point to this is, I decided 2 years ago not to run for re-election. Therefore, there was no competition for this office. There was no candidates. Mrs. Martin was elected as a write-in. Having said that, I don't understand the rumors and lies I've been hearing. I had been trying to get the records out of my house for almost a month so that the bills could get mailed out. So if the bills are late, it's not my fault. I held the office for 24 years and therefore know most of the tax collectors quite well, and also many individuals from the county and tax assessment office. I've had some interesting conversations and recently was contacted and told I was being accused of refusing to give the records to the road department. Kathy, isn't it true that you asked the road department to come to my house and pick up the records, but they refused by direction of their union rep?
That's a personnel matter?
It's just a simple yes or no. Did you ask the road department to come to my house and pick up the tax records?
Did I direct? No.
You didn't talk to my son and say that he, okay, Mike, you did?
I asked him one night down at the township building, I asked
Okay,
him.
regardless, somebody asked my son and Ed Cashar to pick up the records. But they didn't. They refused because their rep advised them not to come handle the records. So that's a flat-out lie. One of many that I'm hearing. Okay? I mean, this whole real estate transition did not have to be this complicated. In the past, the newly elected collector went to the house of the previous collector, picked up the records, and began her duties. Shouldn't be this big of a deal. Thank you.
But it's over with now.
It is over with. And
All
thank
right.
you, Eddie, for picking the records up. You and Aaron Graham.
Not a problem. Who was next? Who's up? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I have some
Yeah.
questions. Kathy Gilmore. Number one, why did the Board of Supervisors even get involved with the tax collector?
Honestly, I don't know what happened before I got involved. I was just trying to get it over with. Well, that's just, I was just trying to move the ball forward.
You shouldn't have been involved with the tax collector at all.
Okay, and Kathy, that comes down to,
Yeah.
when I said that I would come pick it up, excuse me, that's what I was told, that we weren't to get involved because of the way that was, so that's, and I was told not to go pick it up, because I
The way
was,
what was, Mike?
huh?
The way what was?
About them being, the tax collector and the supervisor being on the same tier, I don't remember.
Okay, I didn't know what you were referring to.
Yeah, it,
I think what happened, if I can interject, we were just trying to work it out so there's no, make it smooth. In fact, I even offered, I think you called me up initially.
I called you when I get the copy of the letter that's sitting around for 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, so you called me up, so
Yeah.
I called Tammy, and by the way, how's your father-in-law doing?
Not good.
I wish him well.
Thank you.
So the thing was to just try to get it smoothed out, get it worked out. In fact, I was gonna come down on my own and pick up the files and deliver it myself at no
Oh,
cost.
you asked me if I would talk to Tammy about
Me picking them
records
up.
to you,
Yeah, and I was on my
I
own
did.
cost, no, on my own dime, so.
and I did.
Well, I guess my question is, for years, when I was tax collector, Tammy won the election, she came to my house, picked them up and gone. What was the problem with the newly elected tax collector going and getting them herself?
I don't know the issue, I mean, I don't know the answer.
Would
That's-
you like me to
it's over
answer
with.
that?
Yeah, do you want to call that?
Yes.
Your name, ma'am, just for the
I'm
record.
Tammy Martin, the new tax collector. I was advised not to pick anything up because the first issue was in the local tax law, it says the exiting tax collector is responsible to close out her year, close out her term, and return the items. My advice from the attorney was, I am not to pick it up because I am not an employee.
What attorney?
From him?
No, not my attorney,
Okay.
not your
Okay.
attorney, or the township's attorney. My attorney advised me not to pick anything up because I am not an employee of the township. I am not an employee of the school. The items Mrs. Molson had in her possession belong to the township and the school. If I would have gone out on my own and damaged her property or the equipment, it was my liability to pay for that. I was not willing to take that on.
Regardless, it is over with.
Well,
Right.
I wanna make one statement. I received a phone call from another township. The person that runs the office called me and said that they got a call from our tax collector saying that the road crew went to pick the records up Mrs. Molson wouldn't give them to him. I said, no, I know, that's a whole different story. Why am I getting a call from another township in Washington County saying that this is what your issue is?
I'm gonna tell you the same thing I've been telling people for the last, since I got on here. I don't deal in rumors. You've played that game when you were a little kid where you whisper something down there,
Oh,
and by
yeah.
the time it gets to you,
I
it's,
understand how that works.
okay,
Yeah.
I have no idea
I
who
don't-
called you or
No.
where they got their information.
Eddie,
Yeah.
excuse me, I heard it from the horse's mouth, and that's one lie of many that I'm hearing in rumors. And as I said, I know all the tax collectors, I know the county reps, I've talked with them for 24 years. Things are getting back to me, and I don't appreciate it.
All right. Anybody else?
Look, I'm not done.
Oh,
I heard by rumor that the township got new phones for the road crew.
yeah.
Were there fees attached to those phones?
It was an update and,
Free.
the phones were free.
Okay.
That's it.
No, my question was, if there was a fee, why wasn't it voted on?
No, we actually saved money.
We actually,
Yeah.
they actually cut the bill down
Yeah.
by $80 a month, something like that.
Yeah.
And they actually removed the sales tax that we were paying.
Pardon me?
They actually removed the sales tax also that we were paying.
Any other public comment or concerns?
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. At the last meeting, Mr. Teagarden was not being informed of everything going on with the rest of the board. Is he now being kept up to date on everything that's going on?
I have received emails for every person sitting at this table, but I don't get updates. I don't know what you guys are getting in your email, but I'm not getting it. So I would like for that to be corrected. We talked about that, I talked with Mr. Michael about that, I thought he was gonna see what he could do to get it worked out.
We'll get it worked out.
If not, I've got notice to serve on the township if we're not gonna get it worked out. When we get it worked out, let's get it worked out.
Everyone has to work, like I told the other people have to be collaborative, work together, get things done. Okay?
Mr. Maple, I've been in the township or school office to look on for 30 years, probably as long as you've been practicing law.
Almost.
In fact, you got here because of me, if you wanted to look back at it.
1999.
I've never been kept out of the loop like I have this go around here. And we need to correct that.
Well, I have
You
to
don't
tell
have to,
you.
you don't have to like me, but you have to let me in on the information.
Yeah, and I don't know,
I'm
I
not
think
blaming
I've
you.
tried.
You did, you and I communicated.
You and I communicated.
Yes.
You called, I answered your call.
Yeah.
And I've emailed you, I don't know if you
But
got them.
I have to tell you, Doug, every meeting since we've got on here, you've mentioned that you've been in local government for 30 years.
Yes.
And I gotta tell you what, I don't know if that's a bragging point, because there's a lot of crap screwed up in this town.
Oh, well, you know what? You just left the school board and you didn't leave it much different either.
All right, let's all right. Anything else?
One more question.
Yeah.
Sure.
Doug, were you included in the meeting that Mike and Kathy and Tammy had with Mr. Maple about 2 weeks ago?
I don't,
What meeting?
I was not included with any meeting.
What meeting are you talking about? We had one with range, we had one on a personnel issue.
Was he included? Was he
I
invited
was,
to that
I was
meeting?
invited to the personnel
Because
meeting.
Were you invited?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Three
I made
supervisors.
sure.
This Mrs. Himes called me and they left a message on my phone. I didn't, I wasn't there when she called me, but I did get the message. And I responded back
Yes, you
the
did.
fact that I would not be in
For the
town.
personnel meeting.
Yes.
But what about the one, the previous?
I don't know anything about that meeting.
There was a meeting with range, I believe, information.
Range emailed me asking to have a meeting with
I
office.
was not aware of that.
It was just an office issue.
Did we have three supervisors
Three
present?
supervisors is still a board.
No, but it was a meeting underneath Richmond
If you
Township.
remember right.
One second. Underneath Richmond Township, Supreme Court's decision that occurred about a number of years ago said you can have meetings to gather information. No decisions were made.
Absolutely,
Okay.
but shouldn't all the supervisors have that opportunity?
That's my
That-
thing.
Hold on,
We're
hold on,
finding-
Kathy. Ed and I were out looking at the township building because we'd gotten a thing about the, they wanted to they wanted us to look at anything that was wrong with the building, turn it in with them. Ed and I actually went down to the township building and we couldn't get in, the road guys were out. And we came back up here to see if they had a key here for the new building, and when we walked in, the meeting was happening. So we asked what was going on, and they said it was just an informational thing. So we sat and listened.
And no decisions were made.
You can't make
We-
decisions, it's not a public
It
meeting.
wasn't a public,
No decisions were made.
no.
Well, when you have these meetings for informational purposes, you apprise all the other members.
It'll happen in the future.
I mean, you weren't the subject of, when I here in this building, we were having a private meeting, talk about, the election, and then people come barging through the door with cameras in your faces, Mr. Maycomb, when it was not township business being discussed. Okay? Now, if the rules for us is for everybody. Okay, that's all. Let's follow the law.
We'll follow the law. All right.
Thank you.
I see a hand, I don't know who it is. JD?
Are we on, I apologize, I come in late, on public participation?
Yes, we're on public participation. State your name.
And address.
J.D. Martin,
Your address, sir?
question and concern.
JD, what's your address for the record?
Donegal Township.
Supposed to put street address, but go ahead.
Lake Road
All right.
is a state road maintained by Donegal Township Road Department, correct?
Now,
Just the winter.
Winter maintenance.
Just the winter maintenance.
Okay, so this is a two-part thing. First of all, speed limit signs. Apparently from Route 40 to Hicks Road is a drag strip, and vice versa, okay? So I don't know if there's any speed limit signs there, it'd be a good place for one. I don't know if that's
From
something
where to
we
where,
can do.
JD?
From Route 40
Yeah,
to Hicks Road, the bend right there.
okay.
Right prior, maybe prior to Hicks, or vice versa, coming the other way, okay? More importantly, and I'm not gonna single anybody out, and it is what it is, but the road department should have respect for personal property and people's property. And when plowing the road, and I gotta hand it to them, they've been very active on local road through these last couple storms, up and down there numerous times. You know what I mean? Numerous times. So, gotta hand that to them. But they should have respect for people's property, and when coming, what would that be, south, you know, from Hicks to Route 40, around that bend, they should slow down before getting to drive. There is Suchok's driveway, my driveway. I had a Jeep Cherokee parked there, okay? And they come around the bend on 2 occasions during those storms, in my opinion, too fast. If the neighbor would be coming out of their driveway, or I'd be coming out of the driveway, they wouldn't have got stopped in time. Blew debris, and there was rocks and stuff from the driveway that washed out. Clear to the back of that Jeep Cherokee, about 20 feet off the side of the road. Cracked the windshield, but I gotta say it was already cracked in another spot. Not a big deal, it's a farm vehicle. It's just a fact of the matter, have respect for other people's property. But then slow down after, because the political sign that's 20 feet down the road didn't even get touched. So, again, not singling anybody out, it is a safety issue in general, but specifically, I just thought this was the place to address it, that should be a point that they should slow down, and anywhere there is private property, personal property, be respectful, and that's it. Thank you.
Going once. Going twice.
Excuse me, I'm just curious where to jump in here, whether to wait for department reports or wait back here where it says abolishment of the planning commission.
This is public comment on agenda items. Is abolishing the planning commission on the agenda?
Yeah, back here under
Then comment now.
new business. I had another way I was gonna go this night, and I'm gonna change that.
Say again?
I'm sorry, Lee Rogers, Highland Avenue. And another way I was gonna go with this, but I'm gonna change my direction then. And they asked, Mike, when you campaigned to be one of the supervisors, one of your biggest and most important things was the voice of the community, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't understand why you're abolishing the planning commission, because that is an opportunity for the residents to come in and voice their opinions about anything that somebody wants to do, particularly a subdivision, how it affects the neighbors on either side, behind, in front, everything. And to look at those plans and to make sure that all the Ts and all the Is have been, all the Is dotted, all the Ts crossed, and all the information is necessary there to forward that on to the supervisors, and for your review and for your approval. And I'm sure that it's gonna come up that we're not all the other townships, but all the other townships that are functioning have a planning commission.
No, they don't.
Okay, maybe not, but
Who doesn't, Mike?
You can look through there,
Just
about
around here.
50% of them, Doug.
I'm asking, around here, tell me.
regardless of that, it's an opportunity, like I say, for the public to voice their opinions on things, for an open meeting. And I don't understand why you're abolishing the planning commission. Why are you abolishing it, Ed?
It's public comment, I'm not, I don't know what I'm doing on that.
Who's gonna take over the role of the planning commission if
The
you abolish it?
supervisors.
So basically, what you're saying is you're abolishing the planning commission who has people on it from the general public, and yours are gonna control everything.
And we had, excuse me, and we
The
had,
planning commission makes recommendations.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
But
but
it doesn't control anything.
they're going to control the entire township. They're gonna have nobody other than
We would make the
themselves
decision
putting any
anyway.
Yeah.
input in. If you abolish your planning commission, nobody will be putting any input into this except you.
What are you doing right now?
Hmm?
You're having input?
No, I'm saying yous are gonna control it. We can
The
say it,
supervisors controlled it anyway.
with the recommendation of the planning commission.
They could take your recommendation